We live in interesting times, difficult times, seemingly chaotic, but we need to get some perspective. I'd like to help. The Roman Empire was the apex of human state building and organization. In essence, the United States is the new Roman Empire. The Romans existed before machines, so their tax base was human and animal-powered agriculture. This was not a very profitable business model then, nor generally is it today. Roman armies would conquer a new region, steal all the gold and silver, all the metal objects, anything of portable value, and sell their captives into slavery. This was very profitable, but it was a one-time deal. Afterwards, they would tax the peasant farmers to pay for military protection from outside raiders. About 90% of Roman government budget was military spending in order to hold on to what they had and to protect their allies. The Romans eventually spent more than they collected and entered a financial death spiral, is the best way to put it. This death spiral took place over more than 100 years. It took about less than 150 years to complete. Around 260 AD, massive invasions from all directions of the empire stressed them to their limits, but they held. They were resilient enough to fight off a massive barbarian attack from practically every direction. The military spending necessary to hold the empire had begun to exceed the revenues. The farmers were already taxed to the limit. Then the government bureaucracy was expanded to a massive level never seen before, and taxes were doubled, and then later they were even doubled again. The wealthy elite were able to avoid paying their tax, while farmers who had one or two bad years could never recover. They were forced to sell off their possessions and to abandon the land and move into the cities. They had been taxed out of existence. Silver coins were taken for tax payments by the state. Then these coins were stamped with a different denomination, worth twice as much, basically taking in $10 bills paid as tax and turning them into $20 bills. And the coins that were once gold and silver coins were now brass coins, effectively covered on the outside with silver or gold. The precious metal content of the Roman coins began to steadily diminish over 100 years, and the slow deterioration of value in their currency of these coins tracks almost exactly the slow deterioration of the Roman Empire in the last 100+ years. In the end, buckets of coins were used to purchase a few loaves of bread, like Germany after World War I. The Roman army was being paid in nearly worthless coin. A refugee crisis of 200,000 barbarians went bad and turned into an all-out war. A Roman army of about 50,000 men lost a decisive battle, and 30,000 men were killed in what turned out to be the final battle of the Roman Empire. Previously, Romans were resilient and had reconstituted after defeats like this, but this time they could not be reconstituted because both the most experienced soldiers were killed with the repository of knowledge within the army, and the money was practically entirely gone. What can we learn from this? Well, currently the United States spends 65% or nearly 70% of the federal budget on defense and intelligence, if you count related medical care. This adds up to nearly $1 trillion a year. To put this into perspective, our NATO allies, Germany and France, both spend less than $40 billion a year on defense. The United States of America is over $20 trillion in debt. This problem has not reached the terminal phase, the Roman death spiral phase, but it is possible to envision such a scenario in an era of political and economic dysfunction. If the United States does enter a death spiral, then the peace of the world will suffer, and a World War I scenario fought with nuclear weapons is the most probable outcome. This cascade of events can be avoided, but only with reform and wise leadership, none of which will happen without a successful popular revolt by we, the people of the United States. All popular revolts that succeed are economic in nature. This is what the 28th Amendment will become, a popular economic tax revolt that will put pressure upon the United States, in effect, to reform our political system. And this will cascade into an era of reform much like that of 100 years ago, brought about during the presidency of Teddy Roosevelt. This in turn will ensure our economic viability into the future and avoid a cascade of events that will, in essence, endanger the peace of the world.